This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Wednesday? This is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. You're hanging out with us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, your favorite podcast platform. The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. You're hanging out with us on the Bama Central YouTube channel at Bama Central or on my own social media machines at Joe Gaither6. We invite you to jump in, leave us a comment, question, query, or complaint about the show. Let us know where you're watching from. We've got a lot to get into. Oh my gosh. Absolutely horrific night in Coleman Coliseum. That's where we're going to spend most of our time. Alabama losing to Ole Miss, 74-64. Absolutely brutal night. I asked you to be in there. You got in there. I asked you to be loud. You were loud. The team just really let you down. Just really let you down. So we'll get into that. What went wrong? Did Alabama forget to crash the offensive glass? What happened turning the basketball over a new season high? And how Alabama can fix it going forward. We're here with my friend, Mason Woods. You can follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. He's writing recruiting for all things on the Walsh Writing Network. And a little more. Sometimes you dabble with the Spurs here and there, but mostly recruiting with Mason Woods. And it is starting to be a little bit of a interesting time in recruiting. Alabama's going to have a junior day coming up this weekend. All the other schools that he's following, Boston College, Missouri, and Miami, also getting involved with the class of 2026 and 27s now. Mason, how are you? And how old does it make you feel to see 2027, 2028?
I hate it so much. Honestly, even just seeing like last year, Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., that really was a shot to the heart of like, wow, man, I remember his dad. Okay, sure enough. It just continues to make me feel old, which is okay. You know, we go on and we grow, but yeah, no, it is strange seeing like 16 and 17-year-olds that could probably just whoop me with one arm tied behind their back. It's interesting.
It's a new way, but that's just what we do. I guess everyone experiences it. I guess my father experienced it, and all our listeners experience it at some point or the other. When you graduate high school with a year that starts with a 0 in front of it, and then now you're starting the twos, and it's like, oh, I don't know about that. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. Last night not so much fun. Coleman Coliseum was rocking. Kalen DeBoer and Greg Byrne were sitting right there. Got some photos of those guys as they seemed like they were chatting away.
I also saw a clip of the fans sitting two seats down from Greg Byrne, really giving it to the refs. I mean, letting the expletives fly. I don't know who the fan was, but I love it. Sitting 2 seats down from the AD, you don't give a damn. Sitting there yelling at the ref.
Hey, you're giving your all for Alabama right there.
You
can't dribble basketball. You can't shoot or pass. Obviously, maybe they needed your help passing. So you yell, and we like that, honestly. It was a good crowd in Cole. I got in there 5:15. The students were already pretty much packing out the place by the time I was settling in. So they had a really good showing. Obviously, we knew the 6 o'clock start was going to make it a little challenging, and it was. Right at tip-off was not what it was 4 minutes later. Let's just be honest. But 4 minutes later, it did get, this thing about 95% full.
Sure.
And everybody was plugged in. Oh, gosh.
Well, everyone except for
everybody except the team. What do you? The first 10 possessions, Mason Woods. 7 turnovers on the first 10 possessions and three missed shots.
Golly. From the tip, you just didn't play winning basketball. I mean, I'm sure Ole Miss did some things that disrupted you, but
Okay, they switch everything. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So they switch everything, but that should let you get a good matchup. Coach talked about we thought we were prepared. Obviously not. Let's find this out. All right. So what have they been doing lately? Team, no, yeah, team game by game. That's what I want right there. So last night was 21 turnovers, but 15 against A&M, 11 against South Carolina, 9 against Oklahoma, 6 against South Carolina. South Dakota State. Then you have the 19 against Kent State. So it's been a while since you've had this, but it looks like it's been. I mean, you have the 19, and I'm sure they have a major coaching moment in practice, and the next game 6. Okay, we feel better about it. Ease off it. 9, 11, 15, and now last night 21 turnovers, culminating in a side of loss.
So whatever we did in that week of practice before that South Dakota State game, Nate Oates and company are gonna have to recreate that every week. It sounds like whatever motivation they scraped the bottom of the barrel and found, they're gonna have to bring it back out for every game moving forward. It looks like.
Our friend Stingray chimes in on the Facebook machine. I'm guessing the 3-hour game, talking about Saturday's Texas A&M game, took it out of Alabama basketball with the quick turnaround. Very much could be the case. I mean, Texas A&M plays you physically, and Ole Miss does as well. But
I thought in that Texas A&M game, Alabama did a good job of forcing Texas A&M to play up to their pace a bit rather than them getting slowed down and dragged into the mud. Kind of, this game obviously was very different. Ole Miss was able to kind of drag Alabama out into the quicksand and just kind of keep them there. I definitely think that could have played some role, but I don't know.
You hit on that. Okay, Alabama had 72 possessions last night. Ole Miss 73, which is right around what Alabama's been having through the season. But I agree with your point. I think that especially in the first half. How many they have? 36 possessions. So that's still right about half. That is it, half that 32. I just felt like everything was drug. I mean, you had Grant Nelson have a really emphatic dunk with zeros on the clock on the shot clock. You had several times where I thought, oh, that might have been a shot clock violation. Alabama just getting late into clocks.
It felt like it was pulling teeth to score points in this game.
You fast break points, only 8 fast break points the entire game for Alabama, right? Yeah. 4 second chance points. Let's talk about that. Let's go to that because Oates in the press opens his press conference afterwards saying, "I think it's like our guys didn't realize." He said, "What was it?" He goes, "What was most disappointing was the lack of offensive rebounding. It's like our guys didn't realize that's the aspect of our game that's been keeping our offense alive, making our offense go." It was the take. I mean, obviously, last night you shot 43%, so not really that bad. Not 25% from 3. You don't like that, but you only shot 47 shots to their 70. So we're going to give them, what is that, 23 more shots from the floor and expect to win? Like, I don't care where you're shooting from. So the turnovers and the offensive rebounding. People talk about three ball that.
Live and die by the 3.
Just crash the glass like you've been. He goes, "Oh, we only got 1 offensive rebound in the first half. Do you remember what it was?"
I don't think I can.
Because it was a fluke, Mason. It was. Oh my God, these jokers last night. I don't know what they're doing. The offensive rebound in the first half is Jaron Stevenson's breakaway dunk miss. I'm rebounding my own miss. Getting an offensive basket interference, also turnover.
Man, oh man. And maybe I'm wrong, but the other ones in the second half, didn't they all come on like one little play where it was like they got just 2 rebounds right back to back after another and still couldn't score?
Grant got something. Yeah. Grant got to put back and right back in.
Okay, he did score, but yeah, so at no point in this game was there any threat of an offensive rebound from Alabama, and it's you heard it from Nate Oates. It's very obviously not the way that you win basketball games. It's not, that has been something that they have done really well in the first 3 SEC games before this one, and they were nowhere last night.
Malik Dia kicked their ass. Let's just be honest. I mean, we're usually not that blunt, but like he kicked their ass. What was it? 23 points, 23 points, 19 rebounds.
The Coleman Coliseum crowd about it too. I saw at some points.
And when he came into the press room, he wanted to say it again. He was the player, and he was not rude by any means. I don't want to come off that way, but he had a huge smile on his face. And look, to the victors go the spoils. Sure. You played your butt off. 11 of 21, 19 rebounds. My man's took the Alabama Bigs to school. 19 rebounds, 4 offensive boards, 2 block shots was a huge part of the game. Hey, Coach, I should have played Cliff more. Okay, yeah, you should have, but maybe you guys shouldn't have just thrown the basketball all over the place. That was just so flabbergasting to me.
Yeah, I mean, because it's it's all of this to say Dio went off, whatever. If Bama turns the ball over, say 12 times, they probably win this game.
Yes,
pretty
15
by 6 points or so.
Give me 6 more possessions and see what happens.
Man.
Give me 6 more possessions and cut my turnovers by 6, so get 15, right? And give me 2 more offensive rebounds for 4 more second chance points. Like, it wasn't much that you needed. And that's what was so frustrating is, like, I'm sitting there writing the game story for BamaCentral.com. I appreciate everybody who reads us at BamaCentral.com. You can read all our great work. Hunter DeCyber, Katie Wyndham. We just added Will Miller. And, of course, Mason Woods. I'm sitting there. My assignment is write the gamer. And, all right, inside journalism, the gamer is due at zeros on the clock. You gotta seconds after it zeros, it's up, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're sitting there playing the game of, are you going to win or are you going to lose? Are you going to win or are you going to lose? Are we writing a winning story or are we writing a losing story? That's the game we're playing. And I'm sitting there. You don't write anything in the first half. Just some notes, scratching notes. All right, this is some things I want to say. The first half, some highlights, and they start coming out. And I'm like, all right. I'm getting started. Here we go. And I write my first half kind of notes into form, and I get all my formatting done. And I'm like, okay. They're still up a little bit, and then Ole Miss creeps in, ties it, takes the lead. I'm like, okay, I'm still writing a winning story. Still writing a winning story. Because maybe I'm naive, or maybe you can call it crimson-colored glass or whatever, but I'm believing in the team. Sure. I always do. And then I'm writing my winning story, and about 9-ish, 8-ish minutes go, I said, all right, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe it's about to go the other way. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold this out till 5 minutes left until I think that if this holds till 5 minutes, then I'm going to write this as a losing story. And like, they just never seem to, like, the crowd was begging them to. I give a lot of credit. A lot of people give me hell for the Alabama crowd and what we make of it and this, that, and the other. Great job last night. Was into it in all the big moments, but you get your dadgum technical foul on Ole Miss committed on LeBaron. I think LeBaron got hit. I think LeBaron got hit where the sun don't shine. To be honest, he either got hit where the sun don't shine or he got hit in the face. It was very. I couldn't really see it. And the replaying in Coleman Coliseum was not great. So he gets so they get a technical foul. You get 2 shots on the ball, and what ends up happening? You make your 2 shots. I think LeBaron made his shots, but you messed up the next possession, and Grant missed his shots because Grant missed some free throws right there, and then they come down and hit a huge 3, and it's just like, oh well, you were about to tie it, and then bam, it's back to a 5-point game. It's just flabbergasting. I got a text from a friend after, free throws doomed the team again. And I'm like, well, maybe, sort of. I mean, obviously, you don't like going 19 of 26. Grant, really, really, really not a good day for Grant. 3 of 7. Great job, Mark, 100%. But 19 of 26, 73%. You really can't complain that much about over 70% as a team. I would like to see 76, 78, somewhere in that range, almost 80. But you're talking, what is that? 2 extra shots, and you're really looking at great. And this whole team is making me scratch my head, Mason. I've been yapping away. What are you?
I mean,
where are you at with all this?
I'm sitting, I'm scrolling through the stats here, looking through everything, trying to kind of figure out what exactly, where it all. I mean, man, I don't know. Man, I mean, it's just these turnovers. Like, there's not, sure, the free throw shooting is not ideal. 73% is not exactly where you want, but it's just the turnovers. Like, you clean up the turnovers, this team, the ceiling is limitless for them. But they just want to hand the game over to their opponents.
Yeah, 5 for Grant turnovers, 3 for LeBaron, 3 for Jaron, 3 for Mo, 2 for Youngblood, 2 for Aiden Holloway, 2 for Cliff Amori, and only 1 for Mr. Mark Sears.
Well,
you're now 3-1 in the conference.
Missed out on your chance to not take the sole leadership of the SEC, but remain tied for the lead. Auburn went to work last night and did its business without Janai Broome. Took care of Mississippi State.
Oh, 88-68.
Yes.
At home, of course, so give them some credit. But like Alabama, you're right now. Like, you play here, you do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you surely Coach Oates has over the last week and a half hammered the team about how hard it's going to be to play on the road this year. And you give Alabama fans a lot of credit, because last night they made it. It was an environment to where, big shots, big moments. It was loud. And so really, really frustrating effort at home too. Ole Miss, give them credit. They were better than I expected. They were a better team than I gave them credit for. Their guard play was better than I expected. They didn't have a superstar guard, but they had 3 or 4 guards that gave them just enough. They had, Sean Padilla gave them 12, Matthew Morrell 11, and Jaden Breakfield 13 with Jalen Murray 13. So very evenly distributed effort from their guard play, and then a monster inside with Malik Dia. And so you give them credit. You're not going to get to play Ole Miss another time this year. You don't have a trip to Oxford this year, and so you move on. Saturday.
It's tough. You got to win these home games, because life ain't easy on the road.
Saturday's coming, bro. Look at this. Saturday, you go on 11 a.m. in Lexington. Did Kentucky play last night? No. They did. They did. They had to. They beat Texas A&M at home. 81-69.
But hurting on the Aggies.
So it's not going to get any easier. Got to fix the turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, that's that.
If you don't fix anything else,
we can work with the, getting out to a big lead, letting teams kind of get back into it. Hey, I can take that if you turn the ball over 12 times or less. I don't think that's that much to ask. 12, that's still a pretty decent amount of turnovers. 12 turnovers.
Yeah, you're giving grace. There's a lot of grace there.
Yeah,
that's a lot of. Hey, buddy, it's okay. Next play in 12 turnovers.
That's a lot of wiggle room there for this team.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Oh, I understand. That's an accident. Ball bounce is funny. We're not asking for 0.
Yeah,
that's an absurd ask. We're not trying to do.
You got plenty of talent to make up for it. It's so frustrating.
You have to end these possessions with a shot. The offensive rebound was annoying last night, but it's all and the free throws too. But to me, it's just the cross court passing. It
was like fundamental, stuff that when I played middle school basketball, I remember them teaching us. Hey, don't try to go across. Don't pass all the way across the court like that. It was. Oh man.
Alabama drops to 10th.
So painful to watch.
after last night in KenPom. 10th in KenPom. His offensive rating has dropped from second? I think it was yesterday, second or third, to 9th. 32nd in defensive rating now. Still number 2 in adjusted tempo, 74.6 in adjusted tempo. Where's Kentucky? Kentucky, my old Kentucky home. 16 in KenPom with the number 2 offensive rating and the number 75 defensive rating. Their tempo is 28th in the country, 71.7. So we in for a fast game on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kentucky has played the number 17 strength of schedule this season. So they've challenged themselves pretty good. They're 14-3 so far this year. I believe now, 3-1 after their win over A&M. So we're sitting here fretting, Mason, over the loss, and rightfully so. Well, one of the aspects that we did fret about was the standings. I think we need to back up, right? Because the winners of this league is going to be like, it's an 18-game season, right? It's going to be 14-4.
Something like that, probably, if not worse.
Yeah, because of how good the league is and how challenging it is to play on the road. Now, Alabama, you let one slip last night. You're going to have to.
You got to go get one.
Yeah, be on your P's and Q's, cross your, be focused. But
you're going to have to go steal one in Neville Arena.
Right. By no means does it doom you. By no means does this. I mean, you're 4 games into the conference season. Yeah. Let's not lose our minds and say the title run is over. Last night, a bit concerned. Coach even said it. Coach said it last night. Somebody asked him about the offense, and he said, yeah, you got to be honest. It is concerning at this point because without the offensive rebounds and throwing in the turnovers, the offenses look junky and disjointed. And look, the shooting percentage has not really been that good all year long.
And I don't know, that is the most, one of the most baffling things is, we've just heard about how well this team shoots in practice and how all offseason about how good all these shooters were going to be. But here we are, and, I've given them the benefit of the doubt for the first 15 games of the season, but here we are in January, and it's like no one can shoot.
If it's not Mark, like Aiden's gotten hot a couple times.
Sure.
Youngblood was 50%. It's just been random. You haven't been able to. I bet your coach is saying, what button do I punch tonight? Do I punch the Youngblood button? Do I punch the Stevenson button? That's got to make it challenging. Let's before we get off the basketball and move football, we'll listen to Coach Oates because he did have a money quote. You saw if you have been reading any headlines last night or this morning, every writer in the room used it. Period. Because so look, you got to give credit where credit is due. My friend Charlie Potter, Bama Online, asked the question about the effort. Coach Oates calls it disgusting.
I thought you kind of called it sleepwalking. How disappointing is that to see in a game where you're trying to stay in first place?
It's disgusting, to be honest with you. With the amount of fifth-year seniors we have and the leadership that should be shown on this team, to have guys not come in ready to play, it starts with me because I'm supposed to be the one motivating these guys, and I obviously didn't motivate them very well to make sure they're ready. So I'm gonna have to look in the mirror, see what I didn't do. I have to have a good talk with some of these seniors that are supposed to be our leaders and figure out why we weren't ready to go tonight. Because it's very disappointing, it's disgusting, and it's frustrating. And it's not like we lost to a bad team. This is a really good team. I mean, they're in first place. Them and Auburn are tied now, first place in the league. But we didn't lose because they were just a far superior team tonight. I felt like we lost because they came ready to play. They brought energy. They brought effort. And we did not. That's frustrating way to lose.
That's Coach Oates, and I think he summed it up. I mean, there's not much more to say. They came ready to play. Alabama didn't. Alabama turned the basketball over 21 times. That's a new season high. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. New record. Great job, guys. Record setting. What are you going to do about it? If it's fine. Whatever. It's fine. We move on.
Put it in the past.
What are you going to do about it? We'll talk about what they're going to do about it on Friday as we get closer to Alabama and Kentucky. We're live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios, hanging out off of McFarland Boulevard. You can call Derek and his team at 205-758 888-3391 for all your insurance needs. We got a bunch of people watching us on the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube machine. We appreciate you guys. You can call Derek. Let him know that you're watching the Joe Gaither show and that you are interested in a home, auto, life insurance, renter's insurance quote. Call Derek and his team, 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. All right, Mason Woods, we're hanging out over here off McFarland Boulevard. You brought up an interesting topic on the way over here. You asked me if I believe it or not. You want to set it up and go? Go for it.
Yeah, I saw this. Basically driving on the way in here this morning, I saw this story, and I was immediately very perplexed by it. And my first reaction was just, "Oh, this is great. There's no way this is true. This is just striking while the iron's hot on this player's name. He's had a big week." And the story I read was that Carson Beck, now Miami quarterback, former Georgia quarterback. Allegedly, the Georgia Bulldogs wanted him to return this season, and the second team who contacted him was none other than the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, you know as much as I that I have, and I think you as well, have been very, very large fans of Austin Mack this season, heading into the offseason and hoping that he takes over this quarterback battle and wins it for 2025. So what do you make of this? Because, like I said, my initial reaction was just, there's no way this is true. Why would they do this? But maybe there's a little more to it.
I 100% believe that it's true, that they called him. I 100% believe that they called him and said, "Hey, you got any interest? What's your interest? Here's our interest." And I think that the girlfriend in Miami got on the phone and said, "Oh, you're interested? We're interested. Here's our interest, $4 million." And Alabama, I don't even know if it got off the ground. I bet you, right then and there, I bet you it didn't get off the ground. I do believe the report. It's from Matt Hayes. It's from Matt Hayes of On 3 Sports. Matt Hayes, CFB, college football writer, USA Today. So On 3 Sports is aggregating Matt Hayes' report, who is I believe it, host of 1010 XL Jacksonville. Where the heck is Carson Beck from? Jacksonville. I bet you he's got these sources. And think back to Carson Beck's original recruitment. Alabama was in play. Are they committed here for a second? This must have been 2019. Way back when we were all children. I think he was committed for a half second before was it Bryce Young that moved him off of it? I can't remember. Something happened, and obviously he ended up at Georgia. I think if you look at the Alabama quarterback room and you look what you have, and you of course you're happy, just in a vacuum. If you said these are our 4 guys in a vacuum, great, let's roll. But then that's not how college football is played. That's not how this transfer portal is played. It ain't just in a vacuum. Oh, now we have 2 or 3-year starter. 2-year starter, right? Yeah, 2-year starter in the SEC. Took his team to the college football playoff.
One really, really excellent year and one.
Yeah, playing with a bunch of
year.
Look, I'll be honest. I don't think the Georgia skill position players were very good at all. Arian Smith couldn't catch worth a darn. Dylan Bell, I loved Dylan Bell's ability to body and use his body and kind of break away, but just hands like bricks. All these guys dropping balls all over the place. Nobody staying healthy. The offensive line not staying healthy at all. Not a single semblance, not really a semblance of the Georgia running game that we saw, that we've grown accustomed to seeing with Etienne. Nate Frazier was nice with it, but in certain spurts. They didn't really have. I thought their offense was making chicken salad out of chicken bleep all year long.
665 yards of drop yardage for Carson Beck.
Hold that number. Carson Beck. You said 665?
665.
665 on top of what would have been. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he threw for 3485. Plus 665. That's a 4,100-yard season.
And not to mention how many of those were drop touchdowns. We'll just be,
Say two.
conservative. Yeah, give him 2 extra touchdowns.
Yeah. 2 extra touchdowns. That puts him at 30 touchdowns on the year. 4,000 yards passing, 30 touchdowns. And you want to say...
I mean, that might make him a Heisman finalist.
he is a good quarterback. And I've got Georgia friends who are, thank God he's gone. Thank God he stinks. Oh, he stinks.
Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, the interceptions this year, which a lot of them were bad throws.
Oh, he's running for his life.
Sure.
Trying to make something happen.
He had some questionable decisions at times.
Well,
but I
count
think
me as a Carson Beck fan. We'll just say that. And look, you guys can jump into the comments and say I'm stupid. That's absolutely welcomed.
If he had come to Alabama, would you have been Carson Beck over Austin Mack all day?
Walking into 25?
Sure.
Yes, 1,000%. I mean, I love you, Austin, but like the 2 years worth of starting experience. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I've seen everything the SEC has to throw at me. I've gone into stadiums. Look, I mean, beat your chest all you want about beating Georgia this year, but Carson Beck stood in the fire the entire second half and said, "I am not dying without a fight," and just sling it. Like, look, Xavier Brown, you don't make that play in the end zone, Georgia wins. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Like
see if Miami can finally get to the promised land this year.
Well, they lost Restrepo, right?
Much. They lost all their receivers.
Right. So you lost Xavier Restrepo. You lost Isaiah Horton to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You lost another one to Jacoby
Young, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Point being, I do believe the report.
Jacoby George.
I think that Carson Beck would have been a great fit here. Would have been. Now, look, was Alabama paying him $4 million?
Yeah, I mean, are they paying anybody $4 million? Maybe Ryan Williams.
I don't think they're paying anybody $4 million, but I think they're paying a couple of players close to $4 million.
Possibly.
But I don't think Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck would have been in that category of you're in the we'll pay you close to $4 million. I think that. I think there are about 3 players on the team this past year that were making about $2 million. 2.5. Jalen Milroe, Malachi, Booker. Now, Booker, that's probably an overassessment. Ryan Williams, for sure, is in that category. I mean, he's at least at 1.5.
You would think.
So I don't think you have I think that Alabama's like you're talking about a national championship game coming up in a day or two. Ohio State, their $20 million roster. I think Alabama was at about 13, $14 million, which is still, these guys are getting paid good. But when you're Carson Beck, you got 1 more year left. Now, okay, you just said it. We lost a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You're Carson Beck and you're thinking for your long-term future. What? You chose Miami and your girlfriend and that massive turn. I mean, I guess you don't want to come to Tuscaloosa and compete, and we can always play that card. Afraid of competition. But
still seemed like there were better options out there as far as a quarterback looking for a new home.
Looking for a new home, looking for 1 year proof for 1 year prove it.
Yeah.
Like I got to put 12 good games on tape for these guys to take me serious. Is it I don't go to Tuscaloosa because my elbow injury is not going to allow me to play in the spring, and then I may not beat Austin Mack, Ty Simpson, Keelan Russell out for the job? It's a guaranteed starting job at Miami. There's high competition in this room. Whether you bring in Austin.
He should have gone to Ohio State. Will Howard's going to be gone.
Is that what just happened? Because Schefter just tweeted somebody just declared for the draft. Oh, I don't know. Quinn Ewers just declared for the draft.
There we go. He could have. Well, he would have had to go beat Arch out, I guess. But should have gone to Ohio State.
There was a lot of talk about 20
Played for
years
that.
hitting the
Played,
portal.
played with that fancy, expensive roster. Miami, it's just
I don't want to play in the cold in the Big Ten.
I guess that's what it is. I mean,
I want to go play with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm gonna play with your
on the
pretty
beach
girlfriend on the beach
against these ACC bum teams.
He'll throw for 40,000 yards. I mean, he'll do just what Cam Ward did, probably.
Yeah, and he's gonna be in shootouts all the time because his defense is gonna be. It's gonna just be like, hey, Carson, another 400 yards, please.
And they'll be right up at the end, and they'll drop 2 games to close the season to whoever it's gonna be.
All
and
right.
then we'll have a fun QB1 conversation in 2026.
Yeah, am I just biased with it because I think he's a good player? I think he's a really good player.
I think a lot of the criticism this year wasn't quite as warranted, given the talent. People assume that, it's Georgia. He's got 5 stars everywhere around him. But then if you actually watch the games, many of those skill positions around him were subpar this season compared to what they were the year before, And now, also, I guess you can play the other side of the argument of, well, he can only succeed if he has NFL guys around him. Lad McConkey, Brock Bowers.
You're playing in the SEC. You need guys.
I mean, the NFL guys need guys. Every NFL quarterback needs NFL caliber players around them. It's a stupid argument to me. I think he did a lot to elevate those guys last year, and they did a lot to elevate him as well. And I think in some opportunities, like the Alabama game, he even elevated bad players this year. Given he had 12 other games where he maybe didn't elevate them as much, but I still don't think overall he was not like atrocious this year. He had a handful of pretty bad games, 3 interception games, but we just said it. All the drops were really bad. He should have thrown for over 4,000 yards this season, and that is like the mark of an elite season now. So, I think I'm with you. Carson Beck is not nearly as bad as I think everybody made him out to be this year.
This just goes into my deep-seated personal pet peeves, Mason. Like you want to go inside baseball therapy mode, like therapist. I just think people don't know how to watch football. We got a lot of people listening, a lot of people watching right now on YouTube, listening on Spotify, and I don't want to offend anybody. I really don't. Because I love them all, and I love the comments. But I've got friends who I think, are we watching the same game? Or do you understand how this game works? Like, of course. Everybody looks at the quarterback. Completion or incompletion? Touchdown or interception, sack or a positive play. Like there's just so much going on all the time. What's the play call? What's the protection? What's the down and distance? Who are you reading? What's the read he's doing? Everything. Are you getting? It's just so layered.
I have this argument constantly with people online. The wins are not a quarterback stat.
No,
I will yell it until I'm blue in the face. That is one player of 11 on the field, 22 if you want to include the defense as well. That guy can't decide whether or not a team wins or loses a game. He can make some great plays, sure. He can make some bad plays,
a big
sure.
part of it.
But he is not the end-all, be-all of whether or not a team. You can't put Tom Brady on a team full of high school kids and they'll win a Super Bowl. That's not going to happen.
You don't think Tom Brady's going to be able to make me into Wes Welker?
No, I do not.
Do a little shimmy, across the middle and get my head blown off.
Insane. You hear this every year, especially around draft time. You hear, he only won so many games in college. It's like that's an even worse argument because there's even more variables at play. There's an even more wide array of talent from one school to the next. It's a ridiculous argument. So yeah, I think you have to take what the quarterback does kind of in a vacuum and look at just what he does. And Carson Beck's done some good things.
Would you have wanted Carson Beck on the Alabama 2025 roster?
No. Team Austin Mack. He's going to throw for 6,000 yards next year.
I just think
80 touchdowns.
Okay, you're right. I'll boom. That's what we want. Yeah, roll tide.
I'm sure it would have worked out fine.
but it's like the sure thing. It's like this is what we know. We have seen 2 years of Carson Beck.
Yes, but this
Has
is something
Carson Beck
we
ever thrown to a
also
guy like Ryan Williams?
this is something we also talked about in the car on the way here. How many people like Carson Beck? How well would that have gone over in this locker room? Because it seemed like towards the end of his tenure at Georgia, maybe the team was not too fond of him. You heard Kirby Smart say it leading up to the playoff that the team was playing harder when Gunnar Stockton took the lead there in the SEC title game. So I think maybe he rubs people the wrong way a bit, and that Bama Georgia rivalry has become very fierce as of late. So that might have rubbed some folks in the locker room the wrong way, bringing in the Georgia guy, especially one that was not well liked at Georgia.
You don't think him riding around the Lambo? Hey, hop in the Lambo. I'll take you on a ride. You don't think he's taking his teammates on a ride?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's telling them not to get close to it because they might scratch the paint.
Yes, he totally strikes me as that type.
He's sitting there guarding it. Hey man, back away from the car. You're gonna scratch it.
He's got some.
He pays someone a lot of money to drive it.
He's got some kid, some freshman, some sophomore that he's paying $50 a day while it's at the facility to just sit there. Make sure nobody.
He's got him a microfiber cloth, and every time a leaf falls on it.
Oh, I hope
that's the vibe that Carson Beck gives off to me. And that may be totally false. I've never interacted with him, never met him, but he just does not come off like a very kind, genuine, nice person to be around.
The face-to-face that we had with him at SEC Media Days, now granted scrum style, so it's not like a one-on-one, I'm just talking to you, but scrum style, 20 minutes that I had with him in the summer was very the phrase that's coming to my mind is, you guys aren't worth my time, but it wasn't that strong. It was more so, I'm not taking this that seriously. I'll answer your questions and I'll give but it was very blase. I'm going through the motions, saying the right things. It was not very. Now, granted, that's a long day, and you're talking to a lot of people, and you're probably answering the same questions over and over and over and over and over and over. So give him grace for that. But to me, that's what the vibe I got from was too cool for school, kind of.
I mean, it feels like there's a lot of things. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, probably a duck.
Yeah, I don't want to say arrogant, but I like condescending, because that wasn't it. But I do want to. But it was more too cool for school, kind of.
Yeah, I think I think that's kind of the. And again, it's all.
He just wants to do TikToks with Cavender.
That's what.
What are they going to do next week?
He ain't gonna. Oh.
What are they going? Are they going to get what's the China app? Red Circle or
Red
something?
Note. Yeah, they got to get on Red Note.
Don't do that. Do not do that. Look, I am not a conspiracy. Well, I am a conspiracy theorist.
This
is not a political show at all.
People are downloading this app in masses just to spite the government for banning TikTok.
Do not do that. That is a bad idea. Look, I don't care. Like conservative, liberal, I do not care. Like, I love you all. Man. But that is a bad idea. Do not download that app.
Oh, you're going to take TikTok? All right, I'll sell my information to
China.
Do not take that, government.
That is like now.
Hey,
honestly,
if they don't want them to do it, they better not take their app.
None of us are probably important enough for China to really do anything with our information. If you do download that app, but don't do that. That is just that feels like asking for trouble. And I like to live on the wild side sometimes, but that seems like
yeah, just start, any good TikTok videos that you like, just start downloading them and saving them to your camera roll, just in case.
It's just like Vine. Things come and go.
Yeah, well,
things come and go.
Your YouTube recommendation, for the next 3 years will be flooded with, instead of Vine compilations like it was, it'll be TikTok compilations.
Yes. Things come and go. It'll be fine.
Which honestly, though, it's going to be strange because just the way that app works, there was such a wider variety, such a different way of people consuming the content. It was like one thing could go viral on there and millions of people still did not see it, but it has its own community where hundreds of thousands did. It's such a strange thing.
The guy doing the dreams with the ocean spray, cranberry juice. What a great song. TikTok is great. Shoot.
What is Derrion Arnold going to do?
I was heavy on it post-divorce, and then I realized, oh my gosh, this is sucking my life away. I am on my phone for hours. And it was just like dopamine, ding, 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 ding.
When it hits you with the little like, oh, you gotten those, or somebody will pop up. You've been scrolling for a while. Why don't you take a break?
That's how you know it's been too long. A while, because I just stopped using the app.
Mm-hmm.
Like I ran divorced in 21. Maybe I 23. Like I probably went all of 22 just like heavy on it. Just like sucking my soul away. But in 20, I realized, oh, you got to fix this. And so like I moved the app to like the back part of my phone, and I don't go on. The only time I go on it now is if someone sends me a TikTok. If you send me a TikTok, I'll click on it and it'll open the app in the back, and I'll watch what you send me, and then I'll close out the app and I'll say, ha 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 ha, funny, because I know that if I watch their video and it hit the next one, I'm gonna hit the next one and hit the next one and hit the next one, and bam, there goes 3 hours of my life.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's off the rails for the day. We hit Carson Beck. Was there one more football topic that was? What the heck? I think there was one. Jason Jones officially is getting announced, but we've talked about that. Central High School, former Central High School, Alabama defensive back, forgoes the Eastern Carolina defensive back's job to take an assistant coaching job off the field here in Tuscaloosa, but will be obviously a big part of the staff. I felt like there was one more football topic, but I'm not thinking of it, so we're not going to sit here and go into the microphone for the next 5 minutes as we think about it. If it wasn't that good, if it didn't come to mind already, it wasn't that good. Let's get out of here for the day. You follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. You can follow me at Joe Gaither 6 on all your favorite social media machines. Subscribe, rate, and review the show. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We're live at the Derek Daniel Studios Monday through Friday. We appreciate you guys for being with us. We'll talk to you again tomorrow right here on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.